One of the things that has made this time, I think, so difficult is the fact that we are not in control, right? There's a sense in which we're waiting to hear what's going to happen. We're wondering, how long is this going to last? How will this affect our jobs? How will this affect our economy? What's going to happen? What's going to happen with our summer vacation plans? Like, none of this we know. The list can go on, but the issue is the same. We don't know, and what we do know is that we are not in control. From the very beginning of time, God instituted a Sabbath, but it's a time that we are to set aside and not work. God rested on the seventh day of creation as an example to us. Honoring the Sabbath was one of the 10 commandments. Breaking the Sabbath was a serious offense, and the Sabbath was required to be followed by people and animals. Right? Violation of the Sabbath was a big deal. Not because a person worked while that was an issue, but there was an underlying issue, underlying meaning behind it. First, breaking the Sabbath was disobedience to God. And that's always a serious thing. But there's a deeper thing, though. Like, why? Why did they break the Sabbath? And ultimately, violation of the Sabbath was a lack of trust in God. See, when God gave the Israelites manna in Exodus 16, he gave them twice as much on the sixth day because he wasn't giving them any on the seventh day. They had to rest. They couldn't go collect it. And so they had to trust. They had to get twice as much on the sixth day so that they could rest on the seventh. In Leviticus 25, the Israelites were commanded to give their fields a Sabbath rest. It means they were to plow the fields and reap harvest for 6 years, but not on the seventh. They were to allow the field to rest on the seventh, in the seventh year. In a culture that was heavily dependent upon farming for their survival, not plowing, not sowing, not reaping a harvest could be seen as unwise and foolish. And God addresses this very question in Leviticus 23, verses 20 through 22. It says, "And if you say, 'What shall we eat in the seventh year, if we may not sow or gather in our crop?' I will command my blessing on you in the sixth year, so that it will produce a crop sufficient for 3 years. When you sow in the eighth year, you will be eating some of the old crop. You shall eat the old until the ninth year, when its crop arrives." As we can see, God promises the Israelites that he will take care of them and give them what they need in order for them to rest. If the Israelites had understood that God is in control, that he loves them and will take care of them, then they would have been able to rest like God wanted. This is the underlying implication of the Sabbath. Yes, it is a command. Yes, we are to rest. But the rest is possible only if you trust in the one who will give you ultimate rest. In Matthew 11, 28 through 30, Jesus said, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Not only does God promise to provide our needs, he promises us to give us rest. So we can look around and we can freak out because of all that we don't know. We can panic because our jobs are being cut. We can panic because our income is down. There's sickness around. There's all kinds of reasons, but the underlying reason for panic is that we aren't trusting God. If we trust, he will give us rest. We're given an opportunity here to find rest. An opportunity that we would have thought impossible a few weeks ago. We are being forced to stay in, not to be running around to all kinds of events and practices. We are being forced to rest. Brothers and sisters, these are difficult times. But just as we learned in 1 Peter, it is during difficult times that our faith is being tested and we grow. In a very real sense, this pandemic is a refining fire for our faith. This is an opportunity to cast our anxieties on Jesus. because he cares. He cares for you. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. When you discover this, when you understand this, you will be able to spend this time that we have right now in social distancing as a time of rest. Rest in the one who is in control. Rest in the one who loves you more than you can imagine. Rest in the one who gave his life for you, so that he could say, "Take my yoke upon you and you will find rest for your souls." We are in a time of unknown. We don't know what the future holds, but we know the one who does, and we trust him. Trust him and rest.